so we can get this
Small
going.
tourney today. It was a hell of a lot of peeps when Marlin Pie was there, but
Yeah. Hey, Adam, show that Groupon I sent you to your mom.
Yeah,
Dude.
out the other now, but we're playing, I guess.
All right, here we go. Oh, good morning. Oh, are you here by yourself? What?
Morning, Pearls.
Mr. Nick, please tell me what's gonna happen to Mystic Maya. Let me know. Give it to me straight.
I'm sorry. We don't know yet. The investigation is still going on, so it wasn't allowed back into the inner temple.
Oh, I see. Okay. So is Sister Iris still trying to remove those trick locks from the training hall?
No. She's the defendant in this case, so she can't be there anymore. She's actually going to be here in court today.
Then, how come she's not here in the defendant's lobby? Ain't she supposed to be here? Where's she at?
That is strange. Did I eat today?
I think this is Fetchworth.
Oh.
Oh, if you're looking for Iris, she's in the prosecutor's lobby. Yep, sure is.
Oh. Hi, Edward. Why is Iris over there?
She's going over today's testimony with the prosecutor as we speak.
Testimony.
You heard me. Iris is going to be testifying as a witness for the prosecution.
Wait. What?
The prosecutor is squeezing her for a confession, or so I've heard.
Francisca. What is she up to?
I know what you're thinking, but Francisca isn't going to be the prosecutor today.
How do you do that?
Who else would it be but that sad sack of a man, Godot?
Oh. Coffee bro.
Coffee bro.
Francisca is engaged in some important work at the Sacred Cavern, or so she likes to say. The Sacred Cavern? You don't mean that she's... Exactly. She has been out there all night trying to remove those trick locks. She's tenacious, if anything.
I thought you were falling out.
With the head nun's assistance, naturally. That wily woman. We estimate that the last of the locks should be taken care of in about 3 hours. Hope everything continues to go smoothly and we receive some good news soon, baby.
Yeah. Thank you.
Prosecutor Godot intends to nail this case shut today, that bastard. Be prepared to fight like there's no tomorrow. I know you can do it. You got stamina.
You don't have to tell me that.
Oh, I know I don't. I can already see it in your eyes. I know about you. You're not the same fever-ridden, frantic maniac you were yesterday. You're the strong-shouldered man I love.
Strange. On the way here, I decided that today would be the end of all this. And as soon as I made that decision, I felt stronger.
Interesting. Maybe you've passed your cold on to someone else. Literally, you dirty bastard. I still love you though. And with that, I leave the rest in your capable, strong hands, baby.
I'm scared of so much.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Just the image of him just like pecking him on the cheek, being like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I still don't have answers for most of the riddles plaguing this case. And I don't know where I missed the money for my hospital visit. The murder of Miss Elise Donem, or Misty Fay. This painting that Larry made. That, well, and what? Who is that again? That's not important.
Morgan?
I guess it's not important.
It's not important. Never mind.
I'll solve them all and bring this game to an end. Or my name isn't Phoenix Wright 3.
Court is now a session for the trial of Iris Hazakakura Temple.
Your Honor. What?
Huh? Eh? Well, my little brother came to visit me in the chambers earlier this morning. All of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, he developed a scorching fever and fainted. Therefore, I'll be standing in for him today.
I see. But if they're brothers, why is only one Canadian?
Oh, poor brother. He looks a bit pale, not to mention sad that he couldn't be here. Oh god, here again.
It is impossible to predict what the future has in store for any of us.
In case you're wondering, Adams, that's what you sound like when you go Kool-Aid.
I know this!
This is precisely why people feel the need to judge the past. And we of the court have been charged with the solemn duty of passing such judgment.
Well said, Mr. Godot, despite the coffee in your hand. I understood exactly what you said, at least up until the end, anyway. Now then, Mr. Godot, please proceed with your opening statement.
Humans are fragile, fickle beings. Our hearts change with the shifting of the tides. There is only one thing that remains constant in this crazy world.
For coffee?
The bitter darkness that lies at the bottom of this mug.
Ah, I'm right. So then you mean... never mind.
During yesterday's trial, the accused refused to admit her role in the crime. But today, she has had a change of heart. Sister Iris of the Hazakura Temple has a confession to make.
A confession? The defendant?
Iris. Why didn't she tell me any of this?
Very well. This court will now hear the defendant's confession.
Is Mel here or no?
No.
She's
Okay,
not.
Guess I'm
Yep.
up again. Yay!
Upon meeting a beautiful lady, I was asked for her name and profession. That's one of my rules. That's all it is.
My name is Iris. I am but a simple nun undergoing training at the Hazakura Temple.
Witness, is there something that you want to confess to?
Yes, but first, I want to apologize to Mr. Wright. I can't continue lying to everyone anymore.
It's alright. What is it?
Mr. Wright, I have to admit that I did play a part in this terrible accident.
Are you actually confessing? Right here, right now? You're saying that you're the one who murdered Miss Elise Denham?
No, I'm not, Your Honor. But I dealt with the cover-up after the murder took place. After her spirit left, I took the lifeless shell of Mystic Elise and carried it to the Hazakura Temple courtyard, where I desecrated it.
What? Order! Order in the court! Witness, are you saying you're an accomplice to the murderer?
Yes, that's correct.
What? 3 minutes in, and I'm already covered in a cold sweat. Maybe that's pain.
Ugh.
Everyone on the planet is an accomplice to something. It just happens to be that in this case, it's to murder.
What's your case?
Isn't that right, Mr. Trout?
What?
What?
That's not important. This is a confession. It pains me to say this, but it looks like Iris' testimony was all a lie.
Now then, little lady, if you don't mind, I've got a question for you. Whose crime were you trying to cover up by your actions?
Wait, who is she covering for? I don't know what's going on. I'm up the creek without a paddle.
I've been at Hazakura Temple ever since I was a little girl. Hazakura Temple is run by one of the branch families of the Korean tradition. One of our missions is to protect the main family.
I'm sorry, but main family?
I'm not cutting in and out, am I, when I talk,
No.
right?
No.
Nah.
Okay, good.
Yes, that's why I would dirty myself, if need be,
Oh.
to protect
Oh,
the daughter of the master of the Korean channeling technique, Mystic Maya Fey.
Who?
oblivious as ever, Mr. Trout. Wake up and smell the coffee, Trout.
Wait,
Order in the court. So not only did you witness the murder, you know the name of the murderer as well?
I'm terribly sorry, but it's true. I saw her commit the crime with my very own eyes. And then I cleaned up the area to try to protect her.
Objection! That's a load of baloney.
Oh, you
that?
took that?
Forward, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. That wasn't me.
The defense will remain from commenting until the appropriate time. Now, witness, let's hear your testimony. What exactly happened on the night of the crime?
Huh.
Yes, Your Honor.
I thought I was prepared for this case. But I never imagined the case would wind up going in this direction.
I went to the inner temple that night, and I saw it all happen in the garden. I saw Mystic Elise strike Mystic Maya with her staff. While Mystic Maya was still stumbling, Mystic Elise moved in to deliver a fatal strike. Mystic Maya tried desperately to defend herself and stole the weapon. It was only in self-defense. You can't blame her for it.
So it was in self-defense, huh?
Yes, Mystic Elise was the one who attacked first. That silence was questionable, but that's why I tried my best to protect Mystic Maya.
You moved the victim's body to the temple so that Maya wouldn't be suspected. Isn't that right? Not bad. You've got the instincts of a true criminal.
Huh.
Something's off here. I'm sure yesterday, Iris never went to the inner temple that night. And the person who did go was this silhouette. Iris even admitted to it.
Now then, Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination.
Okay. She moved in to deliver a fatal strike.
Yes, I'm sure of it. She threw down her staff and reached into her robe for a weapon.
Wait. What weapon?
It was some kind of dagger.
A dagger. And Miss Donim tried to stab her with this weapon. To kill Miss Faye.
Yes, exactly.
You look like I did after I mistakenly took a swing of Worcestershire sauce.
Is that how you say that?
I have absolutely no idea, but do you have a problem with the testimony?
No, it's pretty
with
damn
your
close.
client?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Isn't it Worcester?
Worcestershire.
Do I have a problem with Iris' testimony? Your Honor, I have a small problem with Iris' testimony.
You do? But this witness is your own client.
Not important.
And that's just fine. Witness, let's add your last statement. Let's add your last statement to the testimony.
Yes, sir.
Hey, just a moment. It's my job to say that. Not yours.
Listen, Gramps, I won't say it again. Final judgment will be rendered by me.
What?
Yeah, he ditched him.
Now, let's continue.
Sister Iris, there's something strange about your version of events.
Huh?
Miss Donim throwing her staff away makes no sense at all.
But all you can do with the staff is hit someone.
You wouldn't know this, Sister Iris, but the victim's staff had a special feature about it. As you can see, it's a sword.
Ah,
If Miss Donim really wanted to kill Maya, she wouldn't have needed to use a dagger. Not when she had a sword right next to her at all times.
Aided by a young sword.
Well, Sister Iris, what do you have to say?
I...
Now. That was an impressive bit of investigating, right? I never would have thought there was a sword hidden in that staff. But even so, how should I put this?
What?
A long sword is unwieldy and thus quite ineffective in close quarters combat. Maybe that's why she chose a dagger over her blade.
What?
Anyway, the type of weapon she chose to use isn't what's important. The important thing is that she tried to kill Maya Fey. As long as there's nothing strange about that, there's no problem with her testimony.
But there is something strange about this whole testimony.
Well, Mr. Wright, the prosecution has a point.
That makes no sense, Your Honor. But I'll argue anyways.
Mr. Wright.
I have even more evidence that shows the testimony can't be trusted. Because Miss Elise Donim would never attempt to take the life of Maya Fey. Elise Donim would never have attacked Maya.
How can you be so sure?
Because that's not the victim's real name. Her real name was Misty Fey.
Hmm?
No
No.
chingas.
Not Mystic Misty Faye.
Who is this Misty Faye? Is she related to...
Misty Faye is the master of the crane channeling technique. Also, the mother of Maya Faye.
Are you serious?
Is it really true, Mr. Wright? Was Elise Donim actually the great Mystic Misty?
There's no doubt about it. It looks like Iris didn't know either.
I can hardly believe it.
The idea that she would try to kill her daughter, one she hasn't seen in 17 years. Why would she do that?
Order, I say. Upon first hearing the witness's testimony, it seemed naturally enough. However, in light of some facts that have just been presented to us, one, that the victim supposedly threw away a sword during a fight, and two, that the two people battling to the death were mother and daughter, despite the facts being believable when taken to their own hands. When taken together, however, the entire story seems difficult to believe.
Listen, there's nothing in this world that is impossible. Except for one little thing.
Oh? And what is that one little thing impossible?
Ha! You still don't get it.
No, I do not. That's why I asked.
You think maybe my beans are under-roasted, but you have no idea, Gramps.
Beans. On toast?
What?
I heard this witness's confession this morning. Just as I had taken the first sip of my 8th cup of morning.
Going to ruin your health, my friend.
Thank you for your concern, but anyway, after hearing this woman's confession, I had a detective who loves to investigate sent to the scene of the crime. And he discovered this little beauty.
Is that a dagger? The witness testified to seeing earlier?
Obviously, Your Honor, but did you not notice something else?
Now that you mention it, if you look closely, there appears to be blood on it. Amazing.
Where'd you get that? And can I have it? I didn't see
It's
it when
not-
I investigated the crime scene.
It's not a popsicle, Mr. Wright. Did you investigate the pine tree at the crime scene?
The pine tree?
This dagger was stuck in the backside of the pine tree. When the last blow was struck, ending the violent battle between the two women. This little baby was thrown in the direction of the back of the pine tree.
Ah, that looks like a bonsai tree. But, anyway, which means the blood on this dagger belongs to the victim, am I right?
Ha! Were you even listening, old man? If I first heard this confession, morning, just as I had taken the first sip of my 13th cup of morning coffee.
Your what?
I didn't
This
have enough.
man.
I didn't have enough time to get the blood analyzed on such short notice.
In any case, the court will accept the dagger as evidence now. Furthermore, I order that a blood test be performed on it immediately.
This is my sweetheart. Make sure you treat her right.
Bailiff, get this piece of evidence to the crime lab for testing immediately. Now then, the testimony we've just heard had numerous unbelievable aspects to it. However, after having found the very dagger the witness spoke of, I believe we can consider her testimony to be a bit more credible.
Cute girls never lie. Ever.
You haven't met the right
What do you
ones.
think?
In any case, witness, if you could please testify again to this court
About what, Your Honor?
about the incident you saw, the battle between the two women.
Yes, Your Honor. Mystic Maya stumbled briefly after being hit over the head with the staff, but then she dodged Mystic Elise's next attack and stole her weapon. Suddenly, Mystic Elise was the one on the defensive with her back to the stone lantern. That's when Mystic Maya stabbed Mystic Elise. Mystic Elise managed to fling the knife away, but then she collapsed.
That was a very heartbreaking story.
I don't know if there were any bad feelings between them, but it had been 17 years since Mystic Misty's disappearance. Perhaps they simply didn't recognize each other anymore.
That seems reasonable. Now then, Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination. Boo 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 beep.
Something about you just isn't right today, Iris.
Huh? What do you mean?
Until now, I didn't think you were the type to make such a careless mistake. However, the testimony you just gave contains quite a few contradictions.
What do you mean? What's so wrong about my testimony?
According to you, Maya stabbed the victim while she had her back to the stone lantern, correct?
Yes, that's right.
But in that case, the victim would have been stabbed in the stomach.
Yes, I think so.
But, according to the autopsy report, the cause of death was due to blood loss from a stab wound in the back.
Oh,
This proves that the victim was stabbed from behind, not from the front. Sister Iris, what's going on?
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright?
Ha! It's simple. People are like books. We've all got a front and a back. You get my drift.
Is that all you have to say?
I can also say that darkness loves to play with the human mind.
Nah.
Just say what you mean already. The point is, too much of this testimony doesn't make sense. Throwing away a sword, the people finding me the mother and daughter, throwing away a sword. And now, she says the victim was stabbed in the stomach, and not by a sword.
There's certainly some inconsistencies, I'll admit to that.
Iris, what do you have to say?
well, it's just...
If you ask me, you're just being too naive about the whole thing.
What do you mean now?
There are 253 distinct types of bitterness in coffee. But to pick out each one requires total concentration and the use of all senses. Were you really concentrating on what this witness actually said?
Prosecutor Godot, explain yourself.
The witness was quite unambiguous about her own ambiguities when she said that the garden was dark and she couldn't see clearly. A human needs one thing to see clearly, and that is light, of course.
Light. Light. Of course.
By the way, did you know? Hazakura has a rule that on nights when an acolyte is at the inner temple training, the stone lantern in the garden must be kept lit.
I wondered why that was there.
Well, if that's true, shouldn't the witness have been able to see the crime more clearly?
Normally, yes, Your Honor, but according to the head nun, Sister Bikini, on the night of the crime, it was impossible to light a stone lantern.
Impossible.
It hadn't been used in a long time, and the wake was no good. In other words, it had to have been nearly pitch black in the garden that night. There could have been a faint light coming from the training hall, but that's all.
Most enlightening.
Yes, that illuminating fact has chased all the contradictions away. If the staff was dropped, it would be difficult to see. It also explains why they didn't recognize each other. We can't see the demons that lurk in the night. That's why humans are weak. Isn't that right, Wright?
No.
No.
Order!
Here, Your Honor, let me present you the stone lantern into evidence. Maybe it will rekindle the flame of truth in your mind.
Get those brain cells working.
Why does the judge just look like that?
What's wrong, Your Honor? Was that flame too hot?
This lantern. There's something written on it.
Huh?
Why? It's written in blood.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, that. I guess no one told the judge yet. Okay.
Written blood?
It says Maya upside down.
¿Qué?
Oh, yes. That's right. After being cornered and then stabbed by Mystic Maya, Mystic at least didn't fall down right away. She must have been riding up that stone lantern behind her, with the blood that was draining out of her body.
Certainly looks that way.
I like how Godot didn't even know
Hey,
that.
hey, hang on a minute. What are you all talking about?
What do you mean, what are you talking about? You presented it.
We're talking about the message written in blood.
Nonsense! This lantern, it's as clear as a whistle.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
This whole
Hello?
time. He can't see blood.
You can't see red.
That is interesting. I did not know that.
Colorblind.
Now that I think of it, he did say something to me yesterday.
Oh, that is so interesting.
He said that. So that's what he meant.
In any case, this is obviously an important clue. We now know that the crime scene was dark, and that the victim scrawled this message on the stone lantern. Well, Mr. Godot, anything else? Mr. Godot?
Okay then, let's move on.
Oh, he's shaking. How sad.
Aw.
I believe it has now been established that Miss Denham was killed by Misty Fey. Maya Fey, my apologies.
What? No.
Now it's time to turn our attention to you.
Yes, sir.
After the victim died, you did something, didn't you? Let's hear it. We're all ears.
After Mystic Elise died, I called out to Mystic Maya. I thought it was my duty to protect the future master of the Korean tradition. So I removed the body from the inner temple myself. I dragged it behind me all the way across Dusky Bridge. Then I used the snowmobile to carry it back to Hazakura Temple, and I used the sashito to alter the way the wound looked.
That's a crime in and of itself. So you moved the body?
Yes, I was raised at Hasakura Temple. I owe a great deal of thanks to the Fae clan. But even so, I never imagined that Ilhistunim was actually Misty Fae. I've committed a terrible sin.
Terrible trick of fate.
I believe you're looking for Twist of Fate, Your Honor.
I intended to return to the inner temple after taking care of the body. But
You were spotted by the head nun, correct?
yes, and that's why I couldn't go back.
Story makes sense, I suppose. Mr. Wright, go ahead with your cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.